comment ou est aujourd'hui là, ma bagaille qui marche puis bienvenue sur l'autre mission. Jeudi, samedi. It's Radio DBS. It is time, people, for another edition of Connecting the Dots. Put us on. Give us a moment to shine. It's our turn now, family. Our turn to spend some time together. And we are ready, eh? Give us 2 hours. That's all, 2 hours. And we'll strengthen the ties that bind us as a people. Nigel Francis and myself do this religiously every Saturday, unless there's an outside broadcast and we cannot make it, you know. But no excuses about we cannot make it. Nigel can be at a funeral, he's there. Yes, that has happened. At a graduation ceremony, at a whatever it is, we make the time. Consistency is key, right? Okay, so let me see. I'm just checking out as I speak. Let's see if everything is in order, because we are ready. Okay, admin, put us on the live. I look forward to today's program. Should be another very, very, very interesting one, I tell you. So many responses, so many messages after the circulation of the flyer. So we can well imagine 2 young people, 2 powerhouses. What a story they will share. So we look forward. Yes, we look forward to today's program with a renewed sense of hope, sense of pride and purpose, because we are sticking to the agenda that we set many years ago. That is to connect our people, to solidify the bonds that we share as Dominicans, Mun Dominic. I can hear Nigel boy in the background say, but what she eat this morning then? Boy. Nigel, good morning. Boy, Nigel, I don't know what I eat there. You know, sometimes even if you're not in the mood, you still have to be in the mood no matter what. You have to show up. You have to represent. So even if you have a maltet or a malvat, whatever it is, throw that mood behind and, you know, show up. How are you doing, Nigel?
I'm good, my dear. I'm good. Everything is good. I don't know who bring breakfast for you this morning, but whoever bring the breakfast for you, whoever bring breakfast for you, they did a good job.
Mm-hmm. They give me a vavoom there.
Yes.
So let me thank
yes.
Let me thank the Del Soy
You wake up before voom.
Yes, a vavoom. Yes. This Del Sol guy from Girodel. Why I forgot his first name now? But anyway, Nigel, he brought some good time for me, eh? So I am happy.
That is what. Okay.
Yes, that's all we. And it just give me a little, you know, zoom.
Give you extra boost.
Mm-hmm. But it's really a pleasure to be on again for another Saturday, as I was saying. By the way, Nigel, just even before we start quickly, let us just extend condolences to Alex Bruno, who lost his son this week. You know, very sad situation.
Yes. Unfortunate circumstances indeed. Yes. Unfortunate circumstances. So, Alex, bro, hold on, hold tight. You know, we send our love and we send our prayers and hugs across to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and the rest of the family, the Mago and everybody else, you know?
Yes. Yeah, boy. I tell you, you know, for mother, that's a mother's nightmare, a father's nightmare as well, Nigel. And I also want to extend condolences while we are doing that to the family of Norma Cyril, who died this week as well. I'm sure you remember Norma Cyril. She was once the coordinator for several years of the Social Center Preschool, the sister of Norman Cyril, the NC.
Yes,
so she passed
sister of Norman and sister of What's my dear friend name again?
Oh yes,
Our media guy.
Yes, our media guy. Look, I forget him.
Morris.
Yeah, Morris Cyril. Yes.
Morris Cyril. Yes.
So
Yes. And of course, as we on condolences to the family, of course, of Jeffrey Brisbane as well. We said that last time. I know the funeral is next Saturday. So we have to find a way. Since I'll be attending, but I'll be there as well. So we'll see how it goes.
Yes. Okay, we'll see how it goes. But we can also congratulate Billy Doctor, Nigel. Congratulations to Billy for being again selected to head the Dominica Olympic Committee. It was a fait accompli.
Well, I think Mr. President shows that he has done enough to deserve and to warrant another term. So congratulations again to the president and for bigger things. I know he has bigger plans again to make things happen. So congratulations to those who put that faith in him to make it happen again.
Hey, Nigel, you see that thing with this internet and technology, Nigel, and the advancements in technology?
What happened this time?
So whilst I'm speaking, I'm just trying to send a message to someone quickly. And Nigel, is a good thing I did not press send. Because everything I just said, but I wasn't even typing what I just said. No, why, Nigel? Nigel, come a while. Look, I seen everything I just said about Billy and about number 6, but I did not type that. So what is happening? What is really happening? We need to have a discussion on that one of those days. We'll focus on this, on AI and everything.
Yes, we'll focus on that. You press this, press the speaker thing and it just say just do what it wants for you now.
I tell you, the cell phone has its own agency, its own institution.
People always say, but what I'm talking about this morning there.
But I did not even type that. I'm not going to type all that. I could just send a voice note or something. But
I
just press record to record my voice.
Morning? Why is she sending me all that?
Text with that. Wow. Well, we have to be so careful. But Nigel, as we extending congratulations.
We have to. Technology and
you have to be very careful.
AI and everything else has gone crazy.
It's crazy. Nigel, you
things people are doing now.
There are times I would just someone would just cross my mind. Maybe someone I haven't seen in a long time. And Nigel, like when I got my phone after, the person would just cross my mind. That's all. I would see something about the person. Nigel, no boy. Nigel, we need to have a discussion on that one day. We'll set aside 2 hours to talk about this. What is happening? Yeah. But
things are just happening. You have no idea what's going on, right?
I tell you. So let me put on the phone turn.
Yes. So let me say a very good morning to Anne-Marie Laron Richards, of course, who I know would have been on, obviously. But no, she's always a wonderful, member of the CTD family. So good morning to you, Anne-Marie. Hope you're good.
Not just CTD,
and because of course. Hope Frederick continues to do all the great things that he's doing. And of course, we have Farrah here as well. Yes. So we'll have the entire Laron family on.
And apart from
Glenda Chillingford Peters, good morning to you. Nice to have you locked in as well. Good morning. David Hector, good morning. In New Jersey. Our friend Carl Kofi James is back on. I think he says he normally had practice or something. He's a coach.
Yeah.
So he's not able to be on as he is normally on. But good morning to you, Rebel Rocker. Hope everything's good. I know that you definitely were tuned in this week for the cannabis symposium that we had, as we begin to understand the importance and the benefits of the holy herb. So good morning to you. Yes. Ivona, you leave me talking now?
No, I was congratulating, so we congratulated Billy. So I was just saying as well, we need to congratulate Leandra Lander. You ain't me, Nigel? As well,
I'm not seeing you by here.
You not seen me, Mama?
No, I was seeing you while you just disappear after. I don't know if it's AI that disappear you.
I don't know.
As you're talking about technology, I say maybe AI just saying you just press a button and you're gone.
Yes.
I don't know. Well, so I'm not seeing you, but I see in the flyer, but I'm not seeing you.
Okay, so the admin and everything is all right, I guess.
But yes, congratulations to Leandra Lander on Stitches, right? Wonderful production.
Big production, yes, big production. And the Umoja Club of CHS, and I know you'd enjoy it, and Nigel, as your kind of vibes. Organized.
I definitely would have enjoyed that.
Yes. Well produced, well organized.
But you represented for me, right?
Yes, and my daughter is in the club as well. So yes, I was there.
Oh, wonderful.
Very good. talents offering there in sign language, film, and in speech, choral, and the choir. So there's a part in the play, Nigel, which speaks about the picture of the Last Supper at everyone's house. Remember that back in the day? We had this little picture back.
Everybody had that picture.
And it just brought back memories, And I think they also mentioned the ashtray. You remember the ashtray as well, right? You had to have this at your home. I mean, it was fashionable and functional at the same time. Although sometimes not functional, because sometimes your parents would say, yes,
it was very fashionable.
Yes, it was. Yes. I can remember we had a purple one at home, but I think that's a little time. Yeah, so we had the ashtray.
Of all colors, the purple one only had.
Yes, we had a purple one. I remember that one.
But there were certain things that was like a staple in the house. You had to have it, and it represented.
Oh yes, you remember as well, and that was mentioned in stitches as well.
Hold on, my dentist calling me. My dentist calling me.
But we're not on, man, Nigel. I not seen us on.
I could answer my dentist in the middle of the program. Everybody listen to me talking to my dentist. But I have a wonderful dentist. Yes, Dr. Sharon I almost say Pascal. Dr. Sharon Pearson. Good morning to you. Oh, I have an appointment at 3:00 this afternoon, so she's calling me to get if I can come in earlier.
Yes, all right.
But I'll call her.
Earlier after the program. Just mind me there,
Yes.
Okay. Or send your teeth to the dentist, and you collect it out. That sounds good. Some people can do that. That can be done.
I know, yes. Dr. Dublin, good morning to you, my brother Donnie.
Oh, sure. So you're talking about some of the things we had at home back in the day. And I think they also mentioned...
That they were telling me, we had a couple of cancellations. If you'd like to come in earlier at 1, I have an appointment for you.
Maybe that can work. Depends on your distance from your dentist, of course.
No, dentist is pretty close. Maybe like 20 minutes, 15 minutes for the most, 15, 20 minutes. So.
All right, so that will work for you. That'll work.
Yeah, that'll work.
Okay.
After I agree for the whole program and laugh, I'll go by the dentist to make sure everything's good. Yes.
You remember the porcelain dogs as well, Nigel? Remember those dogs we had before? Like dogs and tigers and cats. On the center table, we had a lot at home. We had plenty. I can remember that. Though I don't want to see them.
You had plenty in your center table.
Boy, back in the day, and then especially when you have to clean up at Christmas time, because normally like curtains, they would stay there for a whole year. And when you remove the curtain to change it, obviously it will just like tear, like déchiré. Now the porcelain dolls, those dolls, the ceramic or whatever, they would have a lot of dust. Not even dust, it's like a mud, because I was stuck to them. Anyway, so one of those days we'll go back to talk about those things, because I can remember back in the day we used to spend so much time talking about what we had, what we grew up with in the old days. It was a good play. Mm-hmm. Yes, sir, boy. Well, put us on now. Yes, no, Niger. I don't see us.
I don't see you. That's all right. I seen Farrah because of what the connection we have.
Laughing there. You share stories to give us to you.
Yes, but I don't see you. I don't know.
But I don't even see me. I don't know if I am.
I bring you back on.
Whoosh. Niger, we're not even going to waste time. Sometimes we have to. More hot, more show. Hey, Nigel. Dominica Color, no, man. Oh no, let's go. So anybody need to on the book? I think you mentioned a few names. These are
yes. I mentioned Carl Kofi James, who's on.
Yes.
Wants to say good morning to his godchild.
Okay.
and everybody else. Wilbert Willis says blessings to Ivona Nigel. I'm already tuned in, looking for a great program. Shows Joe, as always, is there. Good morning to you. Hey. Nigel, check the chat. What all you think there's?
Check the chat, Nigel. Whoosh. I'm hot.
Nigel, check the chat. Okay, Papa.
Okay.
Or you give me instructions. Let me check the chat.
I view just bring up things that we fap. Nigel, I don't to say those things, Nigel. I don't know where just getting on yourself.
Check the chat. But what happened to check the chat for? You don't tell it me. Yes, you're on fire today. I don't know who gave what she just for this morning. What breakfast she had, but she on fire.
No, I have a shot, but what happened? And the AC is high. That's menopause, man. Leave yellow there, please. Okay, Nigel, it's time for the Dominica corner. Who stood?
Yes, Dominica Corner. I was going on
Worcester.
YouTube to see in the meantime because they just see.
Oh yes, go on YouTube, go on YouTube.
Yeah, but go ahead.
Worcester is it?
Go to Dominica Corner.
My turn.
Your
Oui, boy. Okay, one of the guests today is the daughter of a well-known seamstress who had and still has a passion for creating the warp duets.
She doesn't give me hard questions, soon.
No man, Nigel. I mean, come on. So, is the daughter we? Okay, so name.
The daughter.
Yes, but also name the daughter, obviously. So name the seamstress.
Yeah, I think you're catching me there. Farrah's mother.
No way, Nigel.
I can't be wrong.
Oh no.
There's no way I can be wrong with that one.
So what's Farrah's mother's name? Marvelyn Laron. You can remember Marvelyn Laron? I mean,
but
somewhere like that.
Malaron used to live right, but I mean,
and you were so much in culture, and you know, and
but I mean, but it's Farrah's mother. I can't be wrong.
Okay, the next one. What is the name? Let me see if I can put that together. What is the name of the very first indigenous person who was also the first Caribbean and the youngest ever to be part of the United Nations high-level group on climate change?
Valmond. Valmond.
Yes, what is Valmond's first name though? Which Valmond?
Valmond's first name. Hey,
what?
Ferdison. Is it Ferdison or Ferdison? You can tell me the correct thing in a while.
So I'll give you a clap. But actually, you're on the ball with you.
I'm ball today. I'm preparing for you. She's not catching me this morning at all. I'm well prepared. I say you well body, but yes.
Okay. Who is the biggest? Who is the biggest CTD promoter on social media platforms?
Oh, that one must be you. No, Mr. A, Miguel Murphy, good morning to you. We appreciate Miguel and what Miguel has been doing. Miguel Murphy, good morning.
That's not fair, Nigel. You win all of them, man. You should get a prize.
Yes, we did everything, yes.
You on track for all of them. Okay, the last one. And please answer correctly. And please listen carefully, right? And please, Nigel, give me the correct answer. Suple. Name the best secondary school in Dominica. I say that's with a lot of seriousness, because this is a serious question. The best high school in DE.
Yeah.
You need a minute, man, for that. What?
Yes, I need a minute for that one there.
Okay, I'll help you. Dominica Grammar School.
The best high school in Dominica.
Anything else is Dominica Grammar School, DGS.
St. Andrews High School.
Talking about St. Andrews High School, Nigel. I think the reunion.
Yes, good morning. St. Andrews had a great reunion.
Yes, I saw the banquet. I was looking at it last night. Yes,
yes. Joanne, Joanne Prinsby was sharing all the lives and everything, and I was able to follow. So, congratulations to St. Andrews High School in the reunion. Of course, SMA will always remain the best, but good morning to all SMA students and Dominica Grammar School. Good morning to you. Convent High School. Good morning. Answer your question.
Let's move on, Tan. So now, in my Timal voice, the plan was to have a part 1 and part 2. But when we looked at the things that both guests are involved in, we realized, Nigel, there's a synergy that lends itself to the creation of a combined effect, greater than what we would achieve. So if we had them separately. And so we quickly just put the ingredients together, and we're serving a mouth-watering Dominica broth today, because Nigel, I know we'll enjoy this program again.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And the plans going further, Nigel, I mean, as we said, the requests are many. And we have to juggle things at times, but it's good. It's all good. And
we have to, and we have to make sure the mission continues. Make sure we connect our Dominicans wherever they are.
That is important. That is important. Yes.
That we share that.
Definitely. So let's big up Lapland, because Lapland is having their vacation soon. We had them on last week. Was it last week?
Yes, last week.
And then let's big up as well.
Yes.
The folks organizing the Castle Bruce reunion as well. Yes.
Yes, yes. Lots of reunions.
Yeah,
Lots of reunions.
Well, let's bring on our guests. Our guest maybe saying, but they can talk. Oh my God, who does that? Maybe saying so long we sit down there waiting.
Boy, those two, they have their phone.
They're talking and grinning.
Like a party. Yes. But it's all good.
Yes.
It's all good.
So take us out.
But why they have you going in and out like that? 1 minute I see you, next minute they put in the flyer, next minute we're not seeing you. Hey, are you really doing your things this morning?
Maybe something I do wrong, man. I'm not getting any. No, there's no message. Okay. Where's message from my web? Okay. Yes. So okay.
We lose you again. But we hear you, but we lose you. We're not seeing you anymore.
Okay. Anyway, but let's bring them on. It's really a pleasure to have them on. I'm talking whilst the web administrator is ensuring that we are
fixing
back.
Things. Okay,
fixing things, Nigel. So Farrah. Okay, he's telling me something. Fix your camera. Okay. So
fix your who me?
Okay, no me. Oh? I suspect it's me. I don't know. You? Nigel, keep talking, son. Let me see if I can fix my camera.
Now they have to fix your camera now. You see that thing you started this morning in technology.
What I do then? I try to fix that and I put that to us.
Yes, that's the problem. That's the problem there. The breakfast you had and then the AI thing just take over and cause problems to you. So that's the issue here. But yes, good morning, folks. Good morning as always. We appreciate you joining Connecting the Dots. We do this every Saturday from 9 to 11 where we connect our Dominicans through the entire diaspora and of course your entire world. We make sure we can ensure that we know what's going on in our beautiful country, but more so with our beautiful people. This morning is no exception. It's going to be another wonderful program, and I can already feel the vibes, I can already feel the vibes. So it's going to be in one of those other programs where we connect with our guests, find out a little bit about them, how early it is where they are, why they have to wake up early in the morning, or why it's late, and all the rest of it, who didn't sleep to make sure they were here on time, and, all the rest of it. So it's going to be a great connection with Farrah and with, is it for, I have to get the right, correct thing, eventually I will. But yeah, and of course, next week, Saturday, we have another wonderful guest that we'll be locking up with. Paben, good morning to you. Appreciate you making that connection as well for us for next week and all the other guests that have been lined up, and we want to make sure we can touch as many as we can. So Ivona is getting her camera set up so we can see the guests. We don't want you to just hear them. We want to make sure you can see them.
Okay, I think I'm good now. I think I'm good now.
Yes, sir, Papa. They cannot see me. You good?
Yes, I think so. We have to put up my chair high. There, I feel like a matador. Anyway, so let's bring them on, Nigel. Yes, I think you tell me I'm okay. So, yeah.
You okay? All right. Okay. Yes, I think we're all okay now.
There's a big hill above my head there.
Very good. Yes.
All right. So yes.
Yeah. Be good now.
Yeah. So I was saying about Farrah. So Farrah, I think Farrah came to when we met her. We met a few times, obviously, but we had a long discussion with her mom. So Marvin Laron was at DBS. She was in my office with Farrah, and we were talking a lot. They stayed there long, and I learned so many stories. Farrah's mom and I think and my mom would have worked together at Tropicals back in the day. Much older, of course, than Farrah, but there's an innate connection. We spoke at length, as I said, and it was really heartwarming to see Farrah again. I think I would have seen her again not too long ago, and then just to look at what she's involved in, it's really a lot. Now, Ferdison Valmond is a young man I admire very much. He has a tenacity, Nigel, that I would say is deeply rooted in the upbringing and his understanding of his purpose on earth, and what he's involved in. It really calls for assertive behavior, and he understands, his duties well. So, Nigel, we are in for a big program. It's your turn now. Bring them on. Let's start the discussion.
Well, all we can do is bring them on, because definitely it's going to be one of those where we link our originals, if you want to put it that way, our first inhabitants. We link that with our current, so there's nothing better than that, linking the past and the present and making sure the future is bright. And if people like Farrah and Ferdison, I know it's going to be bright. So, yeah. Hey, wonderful. Welcome to Connecting the Dots. We appreciate you joining us this morning. Farrah, good morning to you, first of all. How are you doing?
Good morning, Nigel. I just have to say I'm so excited to be on DBS today and to grow up listening to DBS and to be on this morning. It's so many emotions, but all you had me laughing so much.
Yes, two plums.
I
I
was
would have
laughing.
understood that.
This
I was
what?
laughing till I was crying. But yes, I did have to wake up early, so it's a little after 6 in California. I want to first say hello to all the Larons living listening across the world. To Malaron and Mr. Laron in Goodwill, to my sister Christabel, Julia, Nikki, Verna, everybody, thank you, and all my nieces and nephews around the world. But everyone, thank you for listening, thank you for tuning in. But before I even just take my bow and step back a little bit, I want to say thank you to you and Ivona, because the idea of setting up connecting the dots and creating a platform for us diasporans to keep connected with our island, we are so grateful to both of you. I know it is intense because it's an every week production. So I just want to say thank you for creating this space for us diasporans to keep connected with Dominica.
Nigel, look, I want to cry
Uh,
there. What?
I'll let Ivona say on behalf of us, thank you.
Wow.
But definitely, thank you.
This
We
is deep,
appreciate
Nigel.
it.
And
This is
normally at the end, of the program, most times we'd ask people, what they think about connecting the dots. But Farrah came at the beginning, and she let her voice heard on the importance of this in terms of connecting Dominicans. So I want to cry, Nigel, but I'll hold back the
well,
tears.
go ahead and cry. Go ahead and cry.
But
Cry for me
thank
too.
you so much, Farrah. Thank you so much.
But I mean, yes, I mean, we're
Yeah.
humbled. We really appreciate it. And that's what we try to do every Saturday. And, doing this for the last 4+ years. But it's important for us to do it because we want to make sure we can keep that connection. So thank you for that, Farrah.
Sure.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So we go to, let's take a deep breath.
Ferdison,
Thank you,
Valmond.
Farrah.
Yes.
All right. We go to Ferdison. Am I saying it correct?
Yes, yes, sir.
All right,
Good.
Ferdison. Yes. Good morning to you, man. How are you doing? Thanks for being here and connecting with us. How are you?
Good morning, Mr. Baptiste, Mr. Francis, and Miss
For
Lauro.
sure.
I'm really excited to be here. I'm really a bit nervous, but
No, don't be
excited at the same
nervous.
time. Again, it's always a pleasure being on DBS Radio, really contributing my part in educating the public on an issue that we all continue to face. So I'm really excited and looking forward to the discussion. And of course, a special good morning to all my Kalinago people and Dominican by extension. The support of sharing the flyer since it came out has been something that I wasn't really surprised to a certain extent, but I knew that they always got my back. So they are on the live right now. So good morning and hello to all of you guys, and I hope that you really learned a lot from this discussion moving forward this morning.
No, Nigel is here was nervous, and he has addressed so many, large gatherings on the international scene. I mean, big meetings, he has attended. But it's a pleasure to have you on.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
It definitely is a pleasure. So we start from the beginning.
Yes, we are not getting school.
Yeah, a song like that. Where do we start? We start from the
Let's
beginning,
start from
or
the
it
very
was a
beginning.
song of music or something
Songs
like
of
that.
music. Let's start from
song
the
like that.
very first way to start.
Yeah, let's start from the beginning. Yes.
So
We
ladies
begin with
first.
A, B, C.
Yes.
Yeah, something like that. Or we begin with Do, Re, Mi.
Yes.
So yes, okay. All right, that's the song. Yes, good. So yes. So let's go. Let's start with Farrah. Of course, you are currently in California. It's early in the morning, 6 o'clock. But you're here with us, which we appreciate. How did Farrah get to be connected with Dominica, but living in California? What part of Dominica was Farrah from, in the sense of connected to?
Before I even talk about Farrah growing up in Goodwill and being where I am, I want to take a moment to just talk about Ferdison. I
Wow.
didn't know about Ferdison just a few weeks ago.
Mm.
What was it a month, Ferdison?
Yes.
And I created this platform called DA Connect because I wanted to connect my Dominicans to diasporans, and we meet once a month. But it's kind of like a platform for mentorship. And Amanda invited Ferdison, and I met this young man, and I was amazed. I was amazed by his passion and dedication to educating the community about just environmental issues. So, Ferdison, I wanted to give you a special applaud for what you're doing. Good morning. I know that it's not coincidental that we're on today. Because when I saw it, I thought the synergy between both of us was so beautiful. And I just want to say thank you to the universe, the gods that brought us on together, because together we're more powerful. So I just wanted to make that acknowledgement.
Wow.
Okay, who is Farrah? Where she come out? Okay, so my mother's from Fasaja, my father's from Laron, but I grew up in Goodwill. This little girl growing up in Goodwill that loved people, that loved the environment. People ask me, why did I become an environmental scientist? But when I explain to them the country that I'm from, they're like, well, it makes sense why you became a scientist, to understand the systems that exist so that you can educate the public about how interconnected the systems are, how, as we humans, how we impact the systems, how do we monitor the systems so that 7 to 12 generations forward, these systems exist. And I'll give you a little story. Growing up, my mom was one of the top banana farmers. And as a little girl, seeing my mom planting and growing, and my dad worked at the pantry, and my dad would come pick us up, I just remember just how hard my parents used to work on their farm. But I remember when my dad used to spray the bananas, he would get an allergic reaction. And as a little girl, it really dawned on me, well, there's something that he's using every time that his body is having a response to. And so I really wanted to understand what was the connection between what he's using, why is his body having a negative response, what are the responses that are happening in the environment? Is that thing going into our soil? Is it going into our water? How connected are these systems? And that is where it all started. I remember as a little girl telling my mom, we were on the port. You might remember the port where we used to go drop off the bananas? The scale?
Yep.
I remember being in the front of on the truck with my mom and my dad. And I said, Mommy, how much they paying us for the bananas? And I think at the time it was 10 cents. And I was like, well, how much they selling it for? Well, she said, maybe, I think it's a pound, something like that. It was over £1 for a pound of bananas when they shipped the bananas across. And that was my initial concept of fair trade. As a little girl, we had to work so hard. We were affecting our bodies, our environment, and the payment was minuscule. And that's where it dawned on me. So at 9 years old, I told my mom, I'm going to change the world. I want to change the world. And she looked at me, oh, you know Malaron already. She looked at me and stature, everything, and she said, how are you going to do that? And I told her, through education. I told her I saw people doing things in our community, and I felt if they had different knowledge, they would make different decisions. Malaron tell me, well, of course you could change the world. You could do that. You need the dedication, the discipline, and the hard work. And that has been my motto for life. The tenacity of knowing that when you hear no, it doesn't mean that it's a no. It means the person you're talking to is the wrong person. Talk until you get a yes. If you know that you are on your passion, your destiny to fulfill something that's bigger and beyond yourself, everything will fall in line. This day, this opportunity for me, I sat here for like 10 minutes before you guys came on, and my life literally flashed before me as a little girl, listening to DBS. The fact that my parents and Dominicans are listening to me, a little Dominican girl, is amazing to me. So to every little girl and to every little boy listening today, I just want you to know that the sky is the limit. When your parents put structure and restrictions around you, it's to protect you. Your parents have the wisdom, they've lived life. Just know that you, this little girl and little boy, can be anything you want to be. With the discipline, the dedication, the focus, and the hard work, and people around you, like the community in Dominica, that continue to tell you that you can. When you pass on the road and you don't greet somebody, by the time you return, your mother already know. That is that intergenerational mentorship. That is that community sense that when you live Dominica, you realize just how unique we are. I remember when I moved to New Orleans. Shout out to my New Orleans family. Hey mom, hey dad, my in-laws. Hey Troy, hey pops. And I told my boyfriend at the time, who's going to be my husband for 20 years this October, I wanted to go greet the people I live next door to. He was like, you don't do that. And I couldn't fathom living next to someone and me not introducing myself. Like when we go to Dominica, my kids will say, Mommy, you know everybody now? Everybody's an auntie or uncle. But I say, you grow up in a community where you respect your elders, and even if they're not blood related, when you meet someone, you're respectful. When you pass someone in the street, you greet them. The sense of being Dominican is something that is in my soul. Even if I've been gone for 20 years, I can't believe it's over 20 years, it still is the essence that makes me me. That's why I'm able to do the work that I do, because of my upbringing and because where I started, the base that I've been given, it's so solid that I could be put it anywhere around the world. I will still know who I am.
Ivona, it was a great program. Thanks.
Yes, I was just about to say we can wrap up now. This is so profound, Nigel.
This is like a mic drop, you know. Oh no, not at all. This was. Listen.
This was needed too. Eh? Wow.
Everything that you just said, Farrah, believe it or not, is thoughts and words that were ingrained in you from a little child, and you wanted, and that opportunity had to come.
Yes,
for you to say what
Nigel.
You just said.
That's it.
That's the whole thing about the universe, man. It unfolds as it's when it's supposed to. Wonderful connection. Wonderful connection. And inspiration to all the little young boys, young girls who wants to do whatever they want to do. And we'll find out about what you're doing in a little bit. But
and
yeah,
even I know I'm not a young girl again, but she was even speaking to me because I put myself in, back in the day when I was a young girl.
Oh yeah.
And I'm listening to what you're saying, and I was saying, but if I had probably heard this more, probably I'd have been further or something like this. I would not have been so shy back in the day. But thank you, Farrah. It really encapsulates, what we want to bring out on a program like this. So thank you for this opening remarks.
I mean, the inspiration continues.
And she takes her time to speak, Nigel. That's what I like about. She's not like me. No, but she takes her time to speak. So you have to listen when Farrah speaks. And thank you, Farrah, so much. Thank you. We're talking like the program end, do we?
No, it's just that. It's just that. Come in. Just that. I want to hear Ferdison.
Just that, because we have Ferdison that's going to give us his story as well. I mean, in terms of, growing up in the Kalinago territory and being from there and everything else. By the way, you went to SMA, right? Listen, say yes. Say yes, man. Even if it's not that, just say yes.
He did not go to SMA.
Anyway. But yes, so Ferdison, tell us a little bit about you in terms of, what part of Dominica you're from, and a little bit about your story.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. I don't have a lot to say because I'm very young still. I am 21 years old right now. I consider myself to really grow up in the humblest of settings and households. We appreciate the little that we had, or we did not go to the extent to waste as much as when we have adequate enough. But growing up was really something that I really enjoyed. Growing up with my mom and my siblings as well. We really took a liking for going to the garden, of course, and really running around. I always tell persons that if you don't grow up from as we consider the countryside, that's in the Kalinago territory, you didn't have the best childhood. The river days or the sea baths or the mango trees or the coconut trees, all this was really instrumental in my upbringing. And those of you wondering where I'm from Seneco. That's the first community after coming from Castlebruce into the Kalinago territory. And yeah, basically that my dad was a fisherman to an extent. So there were days when I remember going to fish with him, and there were days going to the garden with my mom and really learning to plant a couple bananas or plantain, and really I think that's what really up till this day inspired me to be where I am right now, and consider myself to be a strong advocate for the need to protect the environment, and realize the importance of not just protecting the environment, but how interconnected we are to the environment, and the environment is to each and every one of us. My education journey started back in the Seneco Preschool, Seneco Primary School, Castlebruce Secondary School, of course, and yeah, I think persons would consider me to be a quiet person back in the days in school, very quiet. The reality was that I was a bit scared to be outspoken per se, and really didn't want to enter spaces that I felt uncomfortable until I really entered high school. The reality is that I was bullied for 3 years straight from first to third form. And that really pushed me to enter spaces where I felt comfortable, and that's when I joined the 4-H club in high school in third form, and I was elected the president for the first time as I came. And I realized that leadership, or speaking out for persons who did not want to speak for themselves or who were too scared to enter these spaces, is something that really helped me a lot in terms of strengthen my voice and my platform. Of course, the platform that I currently hold, it wasn't something that I really was really embracing at first. To be honest, I honestly didn't know what I wanted to be while in high school. Although I had my life figured out, the reality is that when I started high school, I would be like, this is the number of years that I'm going to stay here. When I'm done, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and this is my career path, etc. And yeah, I wasn't your average young person per se. I did not go out with my friends or to go to a party, you go to chill, etc. You'll find me more at home, or sometimes you'd find me in a book or somewhere. So yeah, that's pretty much a tip of the iceberg in terms of my upbringing in the Kalinago territory.
Interesting.
Yeah.
See the inspiration that young people can have on other people. And you know, I mean, just listening to Ferdison talking alone and already tells me, you know, the kind of impact that he's having and will continue to have on young people, but also on the, you know, general population and what's going on. So keep on your path, my brother. Keep doing what you're doing. Distractions will be all around, but that's okay. You know, they always say the attraction's supposed to be a lot more than the distraction, so you'll be good. You know, surround yourself with positive things and you'll be fine. That's definitely so. And linking up with Farrah and others is probably even going to take you even further. So, you know, good stuff. Man, Ivona, we have two inspirational people here this morning. They're taking us on a journey by themselves. You know, just listening to the both of them. They're taking us on a journey by themselves.
And see how we have two of them on the same day, Nigel. That says a lot, you know.
Yes. And in a sense, almost the platform kind of connected. You know what they're going to be talking about. I mean, love for the environment, and you know, I mean, even Ferdison talking about his growing up in the garden and what he was doing, and Farrah telling us earlier how her dad being affected by some of the pesticides and wasn't sure. You know, so that's the connection there, man.
Let's get a little about their upbringing still. We understand that a little.
Yes, you want to talk some more about that? You want to talk about when you went to convent high school? I mean, we can talk about their high school because none of them went to grammar school. They didn't go to SME. So we can talk about it the whole day. That's okay. Yes. So Farrah, convent high school?
of course,
Oh, God, you wait, Papa.
is the best one. I don't know. I don't want to get in no trouble, but I'll tell
I'll
you,
zip
it's
my
not
mouth.
that convent was the best. I think in Dominica we have really good schools,
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh
and
yeah.
because our parents don't joke, "Oh, you have to do good in school. So, but I went to convent. Yes, I am convent girl. Actually, convent prep and convent high.
Okay.
What was it like though? It might be, going back a little bit. At school, what was it like? Were you one of those who said school days were happy days, or were you one of those who said, "Man, I can't wait to get out"?
I I love school. I love learning. So I was one of those like Ferdison. I end up reading and just being in nature and going hiking. But I remember the days at convent, being that young, going to the infirmary.
Mm.
I used to enjoy going to the infirmary and speaking just to the amazing people that were there. Sometimes I'd comb their hair, but just connecting. I've always had an old soul. My mom always used to tell me that I really connected better with older people than younger people sometimes. but um, but it's an interesting activity for someone my age doing that. But I really enjoy just learning about their life and their experiences. So that's one of the things I enjoy doing. Convent was an amazing school for me. I love learning. I can't imagine life without learning. I remember my sister Christabel gave me my first complete works of Shakespeare. The book was bigger than me. It was maybe 8. And so it's like learning and introducing yourself to knowledge and concepts. I think as a homeschool mom, so my husband and I have been homeschooling little kids for forever. So you always introduce them to concepts in a book, and then you're able to take them out. We call it world school, and they get to explore. So it's called really teaching for mastery, where as the kids learn a subject and a topic, you're able to increase that level. So the good thing of traditional school is you can explore with them and you can travel with them and you can teach them. To me, it's a gift to my kids. My mom, I wasn't homeschooled, but my mother was instrumental in just being there and teaching us. My mom used to have this simple call group. My sister Nikki would come home with all the students. She'd make bakes and she'd have them up studying. But I think when it comes to education and learning, convent was a beautiful experience for me. It was a very good school, had great teachers. And I look back now as Anne-Marie is listening. So I'm part of this organization called the Dominica Health and Education Initiative, DHI. Many of you have heard about DHI, but now as part of DHI and supporting Convent and Leandra and her initiatives, it's so beautiful to see that we can give back to the school that made you who you are, that gave you that foundation.
Sure.
And it's beautiful to see that we continue to have teachers that care about our students, that really are there to teach. I say there are two professions that are very unique. It's teaching and nursing. Teaching, you have to really take yourself out and really teach someone else. They may not be your children, but really teach them, and they're the foundation of a society. Nurses, on the other hand, they're the ones that have to take care of someone when they can't take care of themselves. And I feel like these are two professions that are very unique, and we should celebrate our teachers and nurses. I want to say thank you to all our teachers and nurses listening today. Thank you for all what you continue to do for our community, because without you, it will be a different experience for us, without educating our young ones, as well as without taking care of the ones who are ill. So thank you for what you do.
Wonderful. Were you shy? Were you shy at convent?
And I've
I
seen
was
that, no?
extremely,
Shy?
extremely shy.
Oh yeah.
No, man, Farrah. I don't know. No. Shy?
I remember my sister Julia telling me I would be the one, because I'm so grateful that I had older sisters to look up to. And I think that's why I continue to mentor young people so much, because I know what it means to have someone you could look up to, ask questions, and kind of see yourself reflected. I had sisters who pushed me to be better, who who taught me at such an early age the foundation of education, as well as being able to speak for yourself. I remember my sister Julia telling me, because it was something that I was afraid to speak, and she was like, Farrah, everybody using the bathroom, when you get up there, just finger them in the bathroom. And I was like, okay, that's one way to think about it. But I think what has allowed me to continue being settled when I'm in spaces to speak is that I know that I'm on a mission in educated people. It's about women, the environment, and health. That has been my mission for life. And so I know when I'm given an opportunity, it's an opportunity that I don't take for granted. Today, I don't take it for granted. So even if coming on here, like Ferdison, I was a little nervous because I'm going on DBS. But at the same time, I had to sit there, and that's when my life flashed in front of me. It was like, what a beautiful blessing to get an opportunity to speak to all of Dominica, in Dominica, and to speak to the diaspora community abroad and tell them the great work that I'm doing, but also listen to just what Ferdison is doing. When I met Ferdison, I can't tell all you how happy I was because I could tell he was young. I could tell he was a young man, but he was so passionate that I knew that he was going to have a beautiful life. I knew that everyone he touched and was able to share just the education of the environment and climate change, I knew that he would encapsulate them. I knew that he would entrap them in what he was saying because from such a young age, he knew what his mission was. He knew what, and he was on his journey, and it was beautiful to see.
And Ferdison said he was very shy, but now Ferdison is also a certified journalist and a public relations consultant. So you see how far he has come?
Yes, yes. And I know you mentioned, and of course I just kind of, passed it by in terms of the fact that he was, kind of bullied,
Yes.
which is something that happens to a lot of our kids at school. And
Yeah,
I don't want you to go back to that moment, Ferdison, but at the same time, we have a platform here where we can talk to others and we can connect and share with them. And hopefully there's probably some other young person going through that as well. And they can see you here today and know that you can go through it. Just a little bit about it in terms of, other young people. And Farrah, you can join in, of course. The next hour we'll talk about what you guys are doing. So here we're just trying to lay in the foundation, for this first hour of it. But just talk a little bit about it, Ferdison, and Farrah, you can join in terms of kids who are going through that situation of, being bullied, of not feeling, confident and all of that. What do you say to them?
Well, for me personally, when I got older, I learned about imposter syndrome. So that quiet voice deep inside that sometimes hold you down from reaching your full potential, like saying you're not important enough, you don't have the capabilities, you're not smart enough to be part of these spaces. And for me, at that time when I was being bullied, I felt like because I decided to keep quiet and not take a stance, that it only got worse. That at a certain time, I think that's where my anxiety really developed, that so bad that every single time it's trying to understand that you're here to learn at the same time, but trying not to let the bullying affect or impact the outcome of secondary school. And honestly, I just stayed quiet the entire time from first to third form. I never did anything. I did complain a couple of times that it maybe once or twice when they decided to speak to the students, and next time it just kept on happening all over again. But I tried to not to let that really deter me from accomplishing what I came to school to do, which is to reach somewhere higher and better. And the reality is that there are young people who go through the same thing every single day. And my advice to these persons who are currently experiencing what I have experienced is that don't be afraid to take a stance. There are many ways to solve a conflict. And again, this all came back to me when I was part of UNESCO's Youth Peace and Security Support Group, where we really understand that the facts behind bullies and the reality is that persons who bully other persons, it's because you have something that they themselves don't have, or they're really scared to really be like you. And if you're going through it right now, just take a stance, to be honest. Don't be scared to let that inner voice just bloom and blossom and go out there and be you. Remember who you are. Remember your journey or your goals, and just don't let that deter you mentally or emotionally. And again, we have another issue that is really taking society by wave, is that mental health. And those who are listening right now and you feel like you are the perpetrators of persons like these, mental health is something that's really serious, affecting a lot of our young persons right now. So just put yourself in that position. Like, if I was being bullied, how would I feel? And just really take a stance back and just get some inspiration, reflection on yourself, and see where am I going to be in the next 5 to 10 years if I continue hurting that person mentally and sometimes physically. Yeah.
Wow.
Farrah, you wanna weigh in, Farrah? I
mean, Ferdison, that was a great inspiration for the generation that's in Dominica right now. I've been hearing news just of attempted suicides in Dominica, and it's quite alarming. And like Ferdison said, the people who tend to bully, it's because of their own insecurities.
Yeah.
I was bullied in elementary school and in high school. And it's so important to speak to someone. Have someone that you trust to go to speak to. And to the people who are bullying other people, at the end of the day, whether it's because they may have a shoe that have a hole, or they lacing all, or their shirt not white enough, or whatever it is, remember the foundation and basis that we're human beings.
Yeah.
There's no reason to make fun of someone because they look different than you, speak different than you, sound different than you, body types are different. Remember that we're human beings. That's the foundation of who we are. Mun Dominica. First, we're human beings, but we're Dominicans. And I want them to just take a moment and just reflect. Just reflect on yourself. Reflect on your own insecurities, and know that you can speak to someone. You can get help. And I think it's very important for the schools and organizations and departments to have the space for these students to come in to share. It's essential. If they feel threatened in a space where they should be learning, then that's an issue, which means the child's not going to learn very well, or not at all. And then you wonder, why is this child failing? But try and get to the root of the problem. Well, there's a situation that's happening where the child can't actually focus because they're being bullied. And I think it's very important for us to implement certain offices and structures where students can go somewhere and speak to someone in a safe space that they know that they'll be listened to and not ridiculed. Because I think sometimes when students come, because they say, "Oh, it's a child, come out there."
Yeah.
But if a child's coming to you and telling you something, I think it's very important to investigate and to make sure that that child is okay and what really that they say is happening. If you observe and you see that's happening, then you actually have to take action and fix the situation.
Yeah, I mean, we have explored this topic already on Connecting the Dots, the issue of bullying. And so when I look back, when I was at school, I was never bullied. I was always a quiet person. I was never bullied. But even now, in reference to bullying, I mean, it's so much more than what it entailed back in the day. So you have cyberbullying and so many other things. And it's really sad just listening to someone's story. But the good thing is that you have come out of this.
Yes.
And 4-H, you said 4-H helped you a lot when you went to third form or fourth form?
Third form.
Third form, 4-H helped. And look at where you are now. You see? Look at where you are now.
Yeah.
If you had buried your head in the sand and say, "Wow, I think I'll just stay at my home," to be a different story. But you had the zeal, you had the determination to move on, move forward. And I applaud you for this. And you're talking to so many people now. I mean, everywhere. So sometimes you look at people, you just have to know their story. You have to know their story. You see the glory, but you have to know their story, where they came from, why they are where they are today. Because a lot of the stories that you will hear from someone is, you will never believe, that somebody went through all of this. But he's so much of a handsome young man. So, and Nigel, handsome young man. I can just imagine him as, like a teenager, maybe pretty back then. I mean, you don't necessarily call boys pretty, obviously. But, I mean, I can even use that term. But there are several reasons.
He's a handsome young man.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you have 3 daughters, Anyway, so, as you were saying, as you were saying, yes, I mean, in terms of, what might have happened, as I always say, there's always a link between the past and the present, and of course moving into the future and laying the foundation. And oftentimes, we sometimes don't recognize what we're going through. It's probably going to be the foundation of what we eventually end up doing. So you've gone through it and you've survived and you're here for the better, which kind of takes us into what you guys are doing now and the fact that Ferdison is all over the world and talking to people over the world about climate resistance and climate change and the environment and the impact it has on young people and on communities and everything else. And then, of course, Farrah putting together this wonderful documentary kind of thing on women in Dominica. So we're going to get into all of that good stuff, right? Yes?
Yeah, when you listen to Ferdison, what Ferdison said at the start, and even Farrah as well. But Ferdison was saying that he would have gone to the garden back in the day. So you see all that? So that passion for environmental advocacy, which has led him to become, a prominent voice for sustainability within the community and beyond.
Yes.
So we have to find out where that we can't even find out where that came from again because he said it. You see, he said it. And even Farrah's story as well.
So there's this connection. And fishing and everything else.
Yes.
That's where it stems from. Same with Farrah. So Farrah, you're, of course, environmental scientist. Your passion, your love for the environment and the whole ecosystem and how we're all connected and interconnected and everything else. Tell us a little bit about that part of Farrah now.
That part of Farrah is very interesting. So when I moved to New Orleans I was actually awarded a presidential scholarship, and I moved to New Orleans to study environmental science and policy. And at that time, believe it or not, it was that long ago where it was 4 students actually in my field, and they didn't have the program developed. So it was a fragmented program, and we worked with our dean and our professors to build the program. So when someone thinks of environmental science, I want them to think of all the different science disciplines. You get an exposure to them, and it really shows you the synergy between them all. So there was lots of chemistry, there's lots of biology, there's lots of geology, but all the environmental systems and how they're related. I mean, I worked with the Department of Natural Resources in Louisiana doing coastal restoration. And so we know the loss of the coastline in Louisiana is actually a big issue. And so my job was actually to go out as a coastal resource scientist to actually monitor the coastline and see how much loss and how much gain. So my specialty is water quality. And so I would go in and collect water samples and then take these water samples, take them back to the lab, and actually see how much total dissolved solids, so how much growth do we have, how much solid do we have in that water sample. And one day in the lab, I had an epiphany, because I'm in the lab and I am using very toxic chemicals under the hood. And I know that due to bioaccumulation, which means over time things accumulate, that my body, being my first environment, would be affected. And so I'm always the person that's always thinking of what's the effect of what I'm doing here. As a scientist, I am testing the water, but at the same time, I'm also using toxic chemicals, which means my body is affected. I remember my sister-in-law is a chemical engineer, and she had to test ever so often because of the toxic chemicals she was actually being exposed to in the plant. So as researchers, as scientists, sometimes we are monitoring, but at the same time, we're putting our bodies at risk. So I really had this crazy idea. What if I educate people, back to me being the 9-year-old little girl, about why we had environmental issues? I'd lived in Australia, so about a year after being in New Orleans on a presidential scholarship, I actually was awarded another scholarship to study natural resource management and planning, and went to Australia and did research there, lived on North Stradbroke Island, created this beautiful sustainable strategic plan for the community of Stradbroke as to how do they utilize their natural system where all the stakeholders were involved so that they could utilize the environment but not destroy it. And that's my passion, and that's my research. Going into places and researching, doing coastal restoration, sustainability management. But coming from Dominica and being from the Nature Isle, I always had the thought of home, back home. And I was actually about to get what I would consider a beautiful position for an amazing company. And it was actually for the restoration manager to actually manage one of the islands of California. And it dawned on me, who is doing that back home? Oh, though it would be a great opportunity, and I've been gone for so long, and sometimes you feel like you're moving up and you're progressing, but I'm always concerned of back home because I'm very connected to my environment back home. And so currently, after all the years of doing water quality, coastal resource management, land use planning, I'm coming back home. And what does that look like? So for the past few months, I have been connecting with scientists around the world who are Dominican, who are no longer in Dominica. I've been connecting the dots. I've been connecting the dots with scientists who've left. We have such brilliant people who are abroad, who want to help, who don't have the structure and know how to help. And I'll tell you, every scientist I've mentioned, I have this idea. I'm thinking of building a conservancy whose main mission is for the protection of the natural environment of Dominica, or waters or rivers, doing research, monitoring, especially working with our local communities and the Kalinago community. And this is how Ferdison and I have been working together, and it's been so beautiful. And not one person has said, Farrah, what you talking about? Now come out there. They've all said, wow, I've actually done research in the field hoping that one day I'll be able to do that back home. Oh, wow, I would love to be part of your scientific advisory team. And that's what it is. When I say I'm bringing the expertise, I'm connecting the dots of people who have left Dominica, who have done research within the science and conservation environmental field, and bringing it where we now ignite the next generation of scientists, bringing programs so that our students will be able to what? They'll be able to explore like Ferdison and I did. Because guess what? When Ferdison and I, well, I'm much older than Ferdison 20 something, I'm 45, so I'm much older than Ferdison. When cell phone came in, it was a different story. But I think right now we have this generation, the technology, like we were talking about earlier, the AI and the technology has its points, because guess what? If the technology didn't get to this point, we wouldn't be having this moment today. But at the same time, the balance of how do we then put the technology down and allow the next generation to reconnect with Mother Nature? And so the Conservancy for me is an opportunity where I can educate young students in Dominica. They'll be able to learn about the environmental systems, because guess what? If we don't educate them, if we don't get them excited about the environment and protection, what will happen to our beautiful island?
Interesting. So
Yes.
environmentalists would what? Study the natural environment to determine how best to protect it. That's it generally?
Environmental scientists, yes, pretty much.
Okay, environmental scientists, yes. Interesting. Now, Ferdison, I know you are very passionate about climate justice as well.
Yeah.
Put this in context for us, though. What is climate justice? What does it seek to achieve?
Well, two words would be equality and equity. They are both different. I mean, climate justice came about when I started my advocacy journey in general. My journey in climate activism started before Hurricane Maria per se, because climate change wasn't a topic that was out there and everyone was talking about it. It was only after Hurricane Maria that we realized that this is an issue that's really important that we need to start speaking about. And I really just wanted to go deeper into it because I wanted to also be the person that hey, I have lived experience from the climate crisis, for example. And from there, I really got interested in the United Nations and the work that they does, especially their Sustainable Development Goals. And my goal for that would be SDG 13, which is climate action. I was really interested in really helping out. I didn't honestly know it was a policy perspective when I was part of the UN Youth Advisory Group for Barbados and the Eastern Caribbean, where we really work closely with the various UN agencies across the region. But then I realized, like, climate change and small island developing states, especially Dominica, that there is this one word that really being thrown out there a lot in these spaces with these huge countries that contribute significantly to climate change, and that's climate justice. Like, at a certain time I had to question myself, like, I have honestly just heard this word, but what it means to me coming from Dominica, the nature island, and coming from a small island developing state as well. And I realized that climate finance, that's a word that I've really held my stance on attending the various conferences, that even after the government created the resilience recovery plan, I realized that this is exactly what I need to do. We need to call for climate justice, not just for small island developing states, but for vulnerable groups and minority groups. And that's where we as Kalinagos or indigenous peoples come in. You want these countries, these corporations that contribute to the climate crisis, to play their part in building resilience. Because the reality is that, and I'm not even going to say that we contribute less than 10% to the climate crisis or global emissions. I'm going to say that we don't contribute to the climate crisis at all. So now, the reality is that we need justice, because we are here constantly using up our resources and finances to build resilience within our people, and these countries are not playing their part. So when we say we want climate justice, we want financing. A lot of these finances.
Interesting. So countries, there are countries that become wealthy through unchecked climate pollution. But these countries have a huge responsibility to not only stop warming the planet, that's what I'm getting from you, but also to help other countries, like Dominica, of course, adapt to climate change and reap other benefits in the process.
Definitely.
Is something like this? I'm on the right track.
Yes, definitely. And I feel like for the past, the various Conference of Parties, I attended COP28 in Dubai, then COP29 in Azerbaijan last year. And at a certain time, I felt like we were begging to a certain extent that small island developing states continue to say that we need these finances, but these countries say, you know what, I'll give you millions of dollars instead of billions of dollars annually. And the reality is that, is it enough for small island developing states? It's not enough. There was a certain time at COP29 in Azerbaijan when this organization of AOSIS actually walked out of the room because they were not satisfied with the amount that was being committed to small island developing states for building resilience. And it's just a begging mechanism. And I think as a young person, my voice is important because, one, I'm indigenous, I'm Kalinago, and I'm Dominican. I share the perspectives of two people, two countries, two communities, two society, and entering these spaces, I feel like I have a great advantage. COP29, I was part of the host country delegation, meaning I worked with the COP29 presidency. So my role would have been significant in really ensuring that the voices of not just Kalinagos but indigenous peoples worldwide and Dominica is there. Like, Dominica needs to be included in the work that you're doing, and your outcomes have to ensure that Dominica and indigenous peoples benefit from whatever outcome that may be for COP29.
Very good.
Yeah.
Wow, Nigel.
Yes, this is a powerful experience this morning. I mean, advocacy and justice for all, especially as it relates to the environment. But Farrah, tying that in with what Ferdison is doing, how do we get people to understand in a certain way? How do we get them to understand that the importance of because there's always going to be a balance, right? Because you have to use the environment. I mean, you have to use, you might have to cut trees in order to get housing. You might have to do some things to the coastline in order for development to take place and all the rest of it. How do we get to strike that balance between letting people understand, yes, there's development and we have to do certain things, but we need to protect the environment to ensure that the things that Ferdison is talking about and climate change doesn't happen? How do we go about educating people on that balance?
So for me, as a sustainability consultant, I go into countries, companies, and I advise. So when people start thinking of the environment, sometimes they disassociate themselves from the environment. So being part Kalinago, being Dominican, being African, a mixture of everything that we are in Dominica, we have moved away from our environment. We live now in boxes. We live in houses. We no longer live in the natural environment. So we are now separated from our natural environment. Our homes, they no longer have dirt. Now we're trying to be pristine and clean. So I bring in the concept of you are part of the environment. So the sustainability comes from what do you put in your body first, because I see the environment as our bodies first. And so toxicity levels is something that I research a lot and I'm very interested in, because I think what we don't understand is the food that we eat, if it was used with chemicals, if these chemicals are now in the soil, if the soil now is actually toxic, which means the water table is now toxic, which means what happens? That water now flows into the ocean. Yeah. Our marine protected areas now are being affected. And so I come in and I tell them it's very important to have environmental scientists, people who understand these systems when they're making decisions. You can't just say an environmental impact assessment takes too long or it's going to be too lengthy and you disregard these processes. Because guess what? We are all affected. I tell people, what is the true cost of healthcare? What is the true cost of cheap food? If now I have to use an air purifier in my home because the outside air is toxic, if now I have to pay 10 times the amount for organic food because the soil, the average soil is desiccated, there's nothing left in the soil today. Do you understand? And so it's bringing the interconnectivity of the environment is us. We are not separate from the environment. You're not just trying to protect a tree over there. You are the environment. You are part of conservation. So when you speak about conservation and environmental injustice, which are people going into communities that are less underprivileged, where they feel they don't have a voice, NIMBY. NIMBY is a term not in my backyard. There's certain things that will happen in certain backyards, in certain underprivileged communities that would never happen in an affluent community. And that's where the injustice comes in. Because you have to understand, guess what? You do it in that backyard of that NIMBY or that person you don't want in your backyard or that chemical, because the environment cannot be restricted to one area. That wind comes and it blows. The rain comes and it actually has infiltration. It goes into the ground. It goes into the groundwater. So that same thing you didn't want by you, but you have it somewhere else, guess what? It's now in your water. And so the connectivity that we have to understand, we are not separate from our environment. Even if we have separated ourselves over time from our environment, we are part of. And when we start thinking about it, we start thinking of every decision that we make how does that decision affect me, my environment, my body, and how does it affect the natural environment? When we think with that duplexity, when we think of us as a whole, as this whole organism, we start making better decisions. And we have to understand, we as the nature isle, people look to us. And so it's not just saying that we're the nature isle, but what type of programs, implementations, what type of resources, what type of training goes into where we have the next level. We have scientists in Dominica doing research and working with the correct offices. And we have the diaspora working with Dominica. And once you build this beautiful network, we remain the nature isle. The rest, for me, doing restoration around the world, restoring things that were damaged, I don't want to be in that place for Dominica. I don't want to be restoring what we've lost, because guess what? All the other places in the world who've promoted them being this nature place, this natural place, because it didn't have these structures in place before, you had so many people carrying capacity. What does that mean? That means that a certain area can only maintain a certain amount of people for a particular time. So things get destroyed. So that balance of sustainability is where I come in. And so I advise organizations, governments, and say, hey, how can we do this where we take into concept the whole holistic approach to environment? It's not just a tree outside, but it's everything. It's the air, it's the water, and how all these things are connected, and how can we preserve, protect, and able to use for current generation and future generations.
Nigel, what an informative session today. Wow.
Telling you,
this is profound.
I'm telling
These
you,
are the issues that we need to discuss.
I mean, when you think about the environment and you think about it in the way Farrah it's you know, I mean, talking about it, that it's not just the plant out there, or just the tree there, or just the river, or just the sea, it's the whole, and including the physical you, and you being part of it. And then Ferdison talking about the fact that we have to champion it more. We have to get more from those who are, in a sense, almost directly responsible for what's taking place. You know, how do we get them, Ferdison, in your travels and your discussions? How do we get the perpetrators? How do we get those people who, by their actions and their activities, are causing, you know, the whole climate change situation? How do we get them to understand that, first of all? And how do we continue to champion for that justice where we need more for, you know, vulnerable countries and people?
Yes, definitely. And it's really something I always say, is that we need to embrace mobilization. And I'm speaking mobilization of young persons, mobilizations of civil society, or what we consider non-party stakeholders. So we're talking about for-profits, non-profits, etc. All these persons coming together. And the reality is that it's going to be a while to get these persons who are contributing to the climate crisis to realize that what you're doing is hurting the environment a bit more. And it's not only hurting the environment, it's hurting people and our very existence. And I believe, God forbid, in the next 10 to 20, 30 years, if these persons do not assist in, well, really limit the impact that they're having on the environment, that there may not be a Caribbean region. Our island will potentially be underwater if these persons do not realize that what I'm doing have impacts on persons who are not equipped enough. And I came to realize to myself that one thing I always tell these persons when I enter this room is that you may have Mars and space to go to when the whole world just sinks underwater. But where do we go as Caribbean people? We are constantly stopping our developmental and resilience programs to prepare for the hurricane season. So imagine the amount of the impact or the slowing of the progress that we are making. Imagine it's Hurricane Maria passed and we are already standing stronger than ever. So what about countries who are literally sinking underwater at this point while we're speaking right here? Day by day, these countries are being flooded. So how do we let them understand is that we need more young persons like myself. I consider myself to not doing well, advocating for myself, but creating a space where other Dominican youths will be inspired and say, hey, Ferdison is speaking at the UN. Maybe I can speak at the UN too. And we get NGOs who are willing to support initiatives. And the understanding of our people is that, and I'm going to say that pretty blunt, the reality is that when I'm attending these conferences and I'm getting these speaking opportunities, a lot of persons, they know themselves, come on social media and sort of bash me and the work that I'm doing.
You get bashing?
Yes.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So there were persons who would say, I haven't seen Ferdison doing any underground initiatives, etc. But my response to you is that I can come to them, I can be on the ground, plant 100 trees, but at the end of the day, what can 100 trees do? Because they are limited on the ground. Do not push for a systematic change. Policy advocacy does, and that's where I come in. I get to enter a room speaking with at COP29, I sat in the same room with the United Nations Secretary General. It was a closed discussion, no media, nothing. And I was the only Caribbean person there speaking on behalf of Dominica, speaking about our reality to climate change and speaking to the UN Secretary General and hearing how he is giving feedback that I cannot disclose. It's really empowering. And I think that Dominicans need to understand that when I'm out there advocating, I'm not advocating for myself. I'm advocating for you on your behalf. I can sit in this room and say, hey, Hurricane Maria, I was at my home and my roof just flew open and I had to sleep on a wet mattress and I had to eat, drink jelly and provision for days and eat off rations, etc. And at the end of the day, my voice can enter position papers. I can speak to government officials. I can speak to the United Nations, that my voice and my feedback and recommendations will initiate systematic change. That at the end of the day, you will see Dominica or small island developing states receiving more and more fundings. But the question is, how did this come about? And it's because of persons like me and the other young persons who continue to enter spaces and speaking on our behalf. So policy advocacy and on-the-ground work, let's not see them as separate entities. Let's see them as connected. You do on the ground and we do policy advocacy that will help you on the ground or push initiatives on the ground. So let's see, everyone is playing their part. I am playing my part, and what I want is to see young people playing their part, because the more Dominicans that we can get in these spaces speaking on these issues, the more change that we will see, the more persuasion that we will see. If we have 1,000, 2,000 Dominicans, young as 13 years old, at the UN speaking, you will feel pressured at the end of the day to do something better. And that's what we're happening. That's what we're seeing. We see mobilization, not just from our small island developing states, but we see it from countries that are contributing to the climate crisis. And I'm going to speak about Europe and China. These spaces, you can see youth, young people, organizations are contributing significantly to helping us amplify our voice and speaking that, hey, we need money, we need your assistance, we need your equipment, we need everything that help us build resilience in the next 10 to 20, 30 years old. And that's the reality that we're facing right now.
Nigel. I mean, we have to go to the book in a short while and see what people are saying.
Yes, Barry.
This is very, very deep, and it's not just the depth of the knowledge, it's the breadth of the knowledge. I'm really enjoying this. I'm not talking much. Go ahead, Farrah.
Listening to Ferdison, it's so inspiring for me to know that there are young Dominicans in Dominica doing great work. And what you just heard is Ferdison is telling he's continued to be bullied. Like, people are still looking at him and saying, oh, he's not doing what Mr. doing now, he's saying it. And Ferdison is so strong in himself, and because of the experiences he had in high school, he has developed the toughness to know that these people have their own insecurities. These are the people that are the ones that are not doing, are the ones that are going to be talking the loudest, telling you that you should be doing differently. And I've noticed that over the years. Ferdison, you're the reason why, for me, bringing the Conservancy to Dominica, I see how important it is to fund environmental initiatives, to fund conservation initiatives, to fund research. And hearing you saying that, hey, I need the funding to do these things, and that's where I come in. And I'm so excited to know, and I'm so happy we met, like, recently, to learn about what you're doing, and to now know there's you, there's Janelle Brisbane, there are a lot of other scientists, advocates, just people in Dominica that are doing great things for the environment. And I'm so happy to know now that I can come in and now bring in the resources and the funding to make sure that these initiatives, to make sure that you're in the spaces that tell our story, because that's important.
Nigel, look, I'm shivering there. What is that in Creole? It's serious. I have goosebumps.
Yeah.
What is happening in the book?
The connection and the synergy between Ferdison and Farrah and what they're doing, I mean, is amazing. I mean, it's like, here is one in terms of, the advocacy, they trying to get policy change and everything else. And Farrah on the other end, creating this network that is needed in order to have those policies implemented. And I guess affect the mindset, because I mean it's going to take change in the mindset as well. But within our Dominican community, within the community and everything else, because I mean like you said, people just see the environment, whatever. Let me throw this there, I can throw this there, I can cut this there, I can do whatever. No big deal.
Yeah, talking about throwing things, just walking around and seeing trash. I don't remember growing up and seeing all that trash in Dominica. To me, that's really alarming. And my thing is, okay, what are we now teaching the next generation about recycling? What programs do we have in place that now we have young people understanding what recycling is, what littering is? So I think it's so important to have these programs, because we grew up with these programs. So we had the understanding. So we didn't just throw our stuff around. The drain shouldn't be flooding because there's so much stuff in the drain. And believe it or not, if we were eating our banana and our orange and our tangerine, then we wouldn't have the plastic product wrappers. So my thing is, it's so important to teach the next generation about growing their own food.
And even waste disposal and all of this we can talk about.
Composting. I mean, I compost in California. All my plantain skin, my potato skin, I put it right down into the ground, building the soil profile, because California is semi-arid, so it is hot. So we actually got a big chip drop, and what that means is an arborist will come and bring a truckload of just wood chips, and everybody, my little daughter, everybody have a wheelbarrow now putting the chips to protect the soil. So you have less evaporation from the soil, and you start building the soil profile. And that's what we have to understand. Putting back organic matter. In Dominica, we don't have that problem because it's raining plenty. We have plenty of organic matter. So the thing is, how do we keep our soil rich? How do we not put these pesticides into our soil? How do we really improve our organic farming infrastructure so our farmers have incentives to actually do organic farming?
Nigel, let's just look at the book in terms of some of the remarks, some of the comments, maybe questions, if any.
I mean, the book has been going kind of crazy, but let's see. Author Annette Phillips, she was a guest one point in our program. Great job, guys. Farrah, you rock, girlfriend, my neighbor and family. That's Annette Phillips there saying that. Rosalind Sever McLean. This is interesting. I spoke about bullying at some other platforms. So, Rosalind, thanks for sharing that as well. Sika Tours, no matter where I am, I'm always listening. Let's see. Esther Fidel Morris says, good morning, or rather good afternoon from sunny London. So, London is listening as well. Sandra Norris, good morning. I was in Niger, just listening in. As always, interesting program. The both of them are talking so very well. I love to hear them. That's from Jeanette Edwards, of course, Anne-Marie Lauren Richards.
Yes. He's on as
Says
well.
Farrah, my little cousin, you're an absolute inspiration.
Hey, see Farrah smile, boy. That's
Yes,
nice.
yes, and
That's my
Farrah,
big cousin. I love her so
yes.
much.
Nice. For
Farrah
Elwin
Valmond
Martin,
says,
Nigel.
yes, Kozo, yes, Kozo, Ferdison, big up to you.
Oh, yes.
So comforting to see children applying what their parents taught them when they were growing
Mm,
up. I love to see that. Hey, Faye Elwin Martin, good morning to
very
you.
informative and interesting. That's what she
Very
said.
informative and interesting. Yes, both guests have a passion and purpose for their mission. Kudos to you both.
Winnie is on,
Um,
Nigel, and I'm happy Winnie is on. I think sometime last week somebody was
yes,
asking us to
yes,
check
yes. You're
Winnie
asking
because
about
they haven't
Winnie.
seen her
So
on
Winnie is
for,
on. Yes, great
and
to
that's
see
good.
Winnie's on. Darrell, good morning to you. Says well done, Farrah. And of course on the YouTube as well. Let's see what's happening in the YouTube because our YouTube folks, you know. Sylvester Joachim says greetings to everyone. Great program. Saloma Lewis, hats off to my boy Ferdison. Continue to strive. Blessings to you.
Nice, nice.
And there's a few more. So one of the things we always, encourage our guests to do is like when the program is done, you get some time, you can go back and, view the comments and some of the questions because we don't get a chance to go through all the questions and the comments that, Um, Edward Lewis says, I feel really proud to be a Dominican now. So that's good that we could have, Farrah and Ferdison reignite that pride for
Yep,
you.
yep. That's it. That's it. That's
Yes,
it,
that's
Nigel.
that's wonderful. Farrah, listen, I know you're doing other things.
What am I not doing?
The women and
Malawi, that's my brother. I always working.
in fact,
But all connected
Nigel,
to the environment in some way, though.
in some way,
Yes,
right?
yes,
That's it.
yes.
Because I was reading, I was in some research last night, and I read that the environment, the Women of Dominica documentary, and there's something else, global conservation initiatives, and these are very close to Farah's heart, and we can just hear
Yes,
this.
yes, yes.
So I
And
think
then
we need to
Farrah
go
has
to
her own
the
guy
documentary soon.
company that she does other stuff with.
Yeah.
Is it colognes or perfumes or something?
It's actually when I started Gaia's Essence, it was actually loose leaf teas. So when I moved so for those of you who don't know, I lived in New Orleans when Katrina happened, and so I went through the loss of life for my in-laws. We actually had family who lost their lives. So my husband actually lost his grandma and his aunt. And so looking back at that and then going to New York, it was like starting over again. Like when someone tell you you have an hour to pack up your life, what do you take? What do you really take? And at the end of the day, in these moments, you understand what's really important, and it's family. The things and the stuff, they're just stuff. It's just things that you've gathered over life. But your family is the most important. When it comes to critical times like those, not hearing from family members, you don't know if they made it. And I think I went through the second experience in Maria. I didn't know if my parents and my sister had made it. And so it was, you go back to, it's just humanity. I want us to remember that the most important thing, it's just humanity. Gaia's Essence for me, the name Gaia, Essence, Gaia, the Greek goddess of Mother Earth, meaning everything, living and non-thing and living. So every non-living and living thing, they're all connected. That's the base of who I am. I'm connected with myself, my community, my people, my country. We're all connected. And Gaia's Essence is that company that connects women with the environment and education. And so when I started Gaia's Essence, it was loose leaf tea. But before I started it, I had the concept of coming from science and starting this company, but it was too scientific. I really wasn't connecting with the audience, and that's something for anyone who's building a company or knowing when you build a company, they say 9 out of 10 businesses fail. But I tell you, it's the evolution of the founder to realize how do you connect with your community. Because coming from a very science background and trying to educate people, it was too scientific. And so I had to connect it where the average person could understand what I was telling them. And so now we did loose leaf teas. I'm honored to say we got into Whole Foods. I mean, one of the biggest, natural grocers in the world because they're global. And being in the store and meeting the VP and getting the Northeast, that's a little girl from Goodwill. That's a little girl from Dominica, and building the film. Like, how much time we got? 15 minutes.
But let's go there. Let's go on this
Oh my,
documentary.
building the film. So you've listened to me for the past 2 hours, hour and a half, but my family or friends, they know me. I love Dominica. She is at my core. She is who I am. I get my strength from her, and being away from her is hard for me. And having children not be on the island like I grew up was a huge challenge. And seeing my daughter after she was born not being in Dominica, I think it was Zika around that time.
Mm.
I think my mom couldn't come, I couldn't go, and it was just, how can I not have my child touched Dominican? How could she not have a yam pit? How could she not be? And that was hard. So the film came from me wanting to connect my daughter to her rich cultural heritage, to understand what it means to be a strong Dominican woman, because I come from a line of strong Dominican women. Malaron, my sisters, Auntie Pearl, Auntie Ophelia, Mikel, just seeing the people. Like, I remember being as a child, and Auntie Pearl would come and pick up the work to yet, or bring the girls to take their measurements. And I remember the stature of this woman, her eloquence, just her presence would just have me in awe. That's what Auntie Pearl did for me. And she did it for not just me. She did it for every child that she connected with. She had an agenda. She wanted to make sure when she connected with them that she inspired them to be better. She taught them how to speak eloquently. She taught them how to have confidence. And that's where the film came from. The film came from connecting Ava to Dominica. Malaran wins a Golden Drum Award. I love my mother. I love my mother dearly. I wanted to honor my mother. And I wanted to honor my mother, connect my daughter. But the thing about it is, I don't live in Dominica anymore. And I was concerned as to how I would be received. Because the diaspora population, we know that yes, we're Dominican, but we don't live in Dominica. And that was a concern for me. How would I be received as a Dominican wanting to do something in Dominica? And I will tell everyone listening, not just Dominicans, because I have so many colleagues and friends listening, I got nothing but love. Nothing but, what do you need to make this happen? And that's how this film has come about. It's grown from love. Everyone's saying, Farrah, you need that person? Look their number. I connected with this gentleman in Canada. And when I called him, he said, how you get my number? You know, I'm a very private person. I don't know how you got my number. But after talking for an hour, he messaged me like, that was a very inspirational talk. I'm really happy that we connected. I've been connected with Dominicans around the world to connect them to this film. This film is a celebration of who we are as a people. And for me, being introduced to that side of the world, having my son, being in acting, being blue in Queen Sugar, that introduced me to another world that I didn't know existed. But after living in this country for so many years, I haven't seen our story being told. Our story being told by us. Our story being told of who we are as a people, as the rich intellectual people, cultural diverse people we are. And it dawned on me, how can they tell our story if they sometimes don't even know if you exist? How can they tell the story that you want them to tell if the only interaction they have is maybe at a resort, at a hotel, someone serving them? Because if you think of all the movies you've seen, when you see Caribbean people portrayed, one, we're highly stereotyped, and two, we only the people that serve other people at a hotel. Have you ever seen a movie that celebrated our cultural people or intellect in a way where you as a Caribbean national felt proud? And that's what I'm doing with Women of Dominica. I have curated this piece that celebrates intergenerational mentorship. It celebrates matriarchal wisdom, the wisdom coming from the elders. It celebrates our ancestral heritage, who we are as a people, and where are we from. That's what Women of Dominica is.
I love it, man. I love it. I love it. I mean, I looked at it and everything else. I'm actually going to sit with my daughters later on. And of course, and then Haley's actually going to look at it later on this evening, together and ensure that they too understand that power of being, although they were not born in Dominica, but of course they haven't got a choice. That Dominica connection, they have no choice anyway. But they have a choice. You know what I mean?
but Farrah, speaking Nigel, I'm also thinking because
not going to bully them into that, but they have a choice. But you understand what I mean when I talk about the fact that it's just part of the whole scene.
It is.
So we're definitely going to look at that. Yes.
But Nigel was saying, and Farrah is saying all of this, and I'm also thinking about this connection with Farrah and Ferdison. So a lot can come out from this because you said that you got to know Ferdison Farrah not too long ago, right?
Yes, not too long ago. Yeah. Recently. I never knew that he existed.
So I can see Nigel and knowing Farrah, a lot will come out of this connection, that bond that they have.
Oh yes, it will. I can see the where it's leading to. You know what I mean? How can people, Farrah? How can we get access? How can we look at this this film, where it is?
Absolutely. So I've been working on this film for 5 years, and I feel like it's my third child. I have 2 children, and when you put like your being, your soul, your everything into something, you put your foot in it, and you might cook a good kubuyo, like it just tasting good. That's what I've done. I've taken my time, and it's been 5 years, but I'm almost to the end. I never gave up. It was so challenging to put all the pieces together, but because of the resilience of our people, of who I am, I never gave up. Even when people around me said, oh, you wouldn't get the funding because you're from a small island, you don't have big backers. And I said, you know what? But I'm from a community that supports each other. And I know that they would celebrate, because I don't see it as my film. I see it, and that's something that Anne-Marie mentioned to me, which was, it really stuck with me. She's like, Farrah, you did something that we all celebrate. It's not your film, it's our film. And that's the way I feel. We have gotten to the point where it's almost done, but we have that last segment to finish. So it has been extremely costly, and I started a Kickstarter. So Kickstarter is a crowdfunding. It's not like GoFundMe, but it's a little different. It's for projects and movies. So where you back a film or back a project, you get benefits, you get early passes, you get VIP access. I'm actually doing a special book. I'm actually working with, the Kalinago territory. I'm working with a lot of the community, Mrs. Benjamin, the minister's wife, where we can create special Kalinago craft to be part of the Kickstarter. So it's a celebration of us as people. So when people pledge and they support the film, they're actually supporting Dominica. They're supporting the film being done. It will be available next year. So we're going to be doing our first premiere at Sundance Film Festival. And if you know anything about the film industry, to being in Sundance is a big deal. And the deadline is September 22nd. So I've been moving very, very quickly to meet that deadline. And then we want to take the film globally. And people say, why global? Why don't you just take it to Dominica? I said, I'm coming to Dominica. Of course we're going to watch it together. And I said, but there are Dominicans around the world who need to see it too. There are Dominicans who have children who've never been to Dominica, who this would be that ignite. It really ignites in them what it means to be Dominican. Not being Dominican, born Dominica, but still having the blood Dominican because their parents are. So it's a celebration of all of us as we travel the wood to showcase the film.
Ferdison, let me come to you as well. Ferdison, I'm sure you have a lot of photos, you have a lot of information, obviously. I mean, it's easier now with technological advancement. But in terms of documentation, you have a lot of things stored, right? For when you're ready, probably to take it to the next stage.
Definitely. What I do, it's always I tend to consider myself an unofficial influencer per se. So all my attendance at conferences or various countries, you always see me do a recap of a video, or when what I tend to do is when I enter these spaces is also hold interviews with professionals or persons from other parts of the world on a particular topic, or really re-educate them on Dominica, because I was like speaking to my friend from Ghana, and I was saying, they was like, where are you from? I was like, Dominica. They was like, Dominican Republic. I was like, no. So I had to literally pull up my phone and go on Google. I was like, this is the Caribbean, Barbados, Jamaica, Dominica. This is where I'm located. Then I tend to show them pictures of Dominica. They're like, wow, I'm going to make Dominica my next vacation country. And that's really something that I tend to always push towards. While I'm really passionate about talking about these issues, really educating persons on Dominica, because currently persons hardly even recognize or realize that Dominica exists, and that's the reality. So I'm literally playing my part in ensuring that we are out there. We have Kalinagos, because also, even from an indigenous perspective, that we are not recognized even within the spaces, within the international indigenous spaces, that the Caribbean has indigenous peoples. Dominica has indigenous peoples. Belize has indigenous peoples. Trinidad has indigenous peoples. Martinique and the rest of these countries have indigenous peoples. And education has really played a significant role, and really tying that with storytelling as well. And those of you who may be following my socials, I am a bit skeptical to release some news to you guys, so I will do that in a couple months. Really, really great news. I'm hoping that you guys will really be excited. It falls under storytelling, and I'm really excited and hope that I'll be able to tell our story to the world with an international media that you may be familiar with.
Nigel, look, I'm shivering again.
I know, we're waiting for that. We're waiting for that. Nice. But for this one, I mean, the fact that you go to the UN, you present at the UN and other, COP 29 and 28 and all the others and so on. How do you prepare for those events? Before you go out there and have to talk to all these people, I mean, how do you prepare for that?
Honestly, I used to rely on a lot of writing my scripts, etc. And it usually, I don't feel connected to what I'm saying, so I tend to have pointers and just speak from the heart. Because, for example, at COP28, I had the opportunity to speak to the Prince of the UAE and the President of Togo and the rest of the countries. And one of the things I really touched on was the need for countries and corporations to recognize indigenous rights to isolation and protection of the environment. And at the end of my speech, the President of Togo came up to me and shook my hand, and he was like, thank you for saying something that needed to be done. And I'm speaking in front of thousands of people. And I really, really got excited to a certain point, even to COP29, when I sat here and spoke to the UN Secretary General. I'd be like, what do I really want to talk about? I don't want a script. I want them to hear my voice and feel emotional, feel connected to what we are experiencing in Dominica and experiencing within our communities. I mean, imposter syndrome usually still lingers there, but I try to really zone that out of my head, that when I go there, I tend to call back home, call my family or call my parents, but like, hey, I'm going to give a speech there, and just feeling like I'm doing this for my family, I'm doing it for countless generations, is inspiration to just speak from the heart and allow persons to connect with what I'm saying and just imagine the life or reality of Dominica and the Caribbean by extension.
Nigel.
And I'm proud of you, okay?
Yeah.
Me too.
Proud of you and proud of what you're doing, and to ensure you continue representing yourself, your family, the Kalinago community, Dominica, Caribbean youth, and world youth by extension, you know what I mean? So continue on that path. I mean, it's just listening to you and imagine you giving those speeches and talking to all those influential people. It may not dawn on you now, but I'm sure that the impact will be felt by our young people in Dominica.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So do what you're doing. Continue to do what you're doing. And young people, this is an inspiration for them. Farrah, I mean, you've only met Ferdison, but in terms of mentorship, you mentioned that quite a bit. How important do you see mentorship for our young people, especially within the Dominican Caribbean context?
I think it's essential. I think sometimes we forget just the gravity of having someone that you can look up to. I think sometimes we forget that we were young. I think sometimes as adults we just forget to put ourselves back, what it was like with the insecurities, the unknowns, the lack of wisdom, because we're still exploring. Mentorship is so key for, and the thing about it is, it's not just the young ones. I think that I know that we have to remember that we can mentor from every level. The mentorship can be from up, down, in between. It's just someone coming in and you receiving them, you being respectful to listen, and them showing you a different perspective. For us as diasporans who've left, it's sometimes challenging to see ourselves reflected in this new community. Especially if that community considers you an alien or considers you as an outsider. And so it's very important for us to have that mentorship amongst ourselves, within our families, because when you've left your safe haven, when you've left your family, other people don't really consider you family. And so you have to make sure that connection remains key, that connection to the island, that connection to self and other people around you. Ferdison, I am so proud of you, because at 21, you're on a trajectory that I know that only beautiful things will come. I'm so excited for our partnerships through the Conservancy and how I'll be really helping you catapult you to the next level. I'm excited for every Kalinago child now looking up to you, every Dominican child looking up to you, saying, Ferdison go to the UNV, I can do it too. And that's what mentorship means. Mentorship is someone being in a space where you can see yourself and you go, I can do that too.
Yes.
Nigel, by the way, we have a job to do. Ferdison, you went to the Castlebrook Secondary School, right?
Yes.
So Nigel, I'm just thinking about graduation ceremony and and the featured speaker, but yeah.
Yeah,
you got my drift, right?
He's gonna be the next featured speaker at Castlebrook. We always
have had influence several times.
Yes, so we're starting to advocate from now that at the next graduation, Ferdison will be the featured speaker.
Wow.
We have to make it happen, Yes. Someone asked a question earlier, though, and I was trying to run through it because I know, time is about for us to come. And there was something about wood chips, and the person was saying,
"Oh yes, I saw this. I saw this question."
Yes, but it's kind of, so many comments have passed by since then. She says, I have wood chips over my flower garden, and it's attracting ants and other bugs. I don't want to spray pesticides. Is there any way I can minimize or get rid of the bugs? And then let me just give you the next one very quickly.
Yes.
I think somebody was talking whether we have a recycling program, and is part of what you're going to be doing in Dominica. Would that include educating us on recycling?
Yes, no. Even before you answer, Farrah, there's also a call on the line for a while now. So let's just see if this person wants to share.
Let's take the call. Yes.
Okay.
Hi, hello.
Good morning.
Good morning. Let's make it quick. Thank you.
Yeah, very good program. I've been tuning every Saturday morning to listen to the program. And what you want to talk about, what is true, the lady and the gentleman is talking, is touching my heart.
Sure.
So
Okay.
I'm telling them to keep it up. Keep on doing the good thing for Dominicans, do the good thing for themselves. And I always tune in on a Saturday.
Okay. You're calling from Tibo, right?
Yes, Tibo, yes.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for that, man. Thank you. So Nigel, you had questions for Farrah?
Yes, so those are the questions here, Farrah. There are a few others, but I was just kind of putting...
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So will the Conservancy have a recycling program? Absolutely, yes. And would it be educational? Yes. And so what I'll tell Dominicans and anyone in Dominica, out of Dominica, as you have ideas of things and programs that you envision that the Conservancy can actually include as an initiative, feel free. I'm on LinkedIn, on social, message me. That way we can connect. If you have any expertise in any scientific area, if you just want to mentor, just reach out to me, because I can see this, the network of us connecting the dots again.
Here you go.
Makes us
Because they were also asking whether there's anything in terms of having during the summer to have something for the kids on environmental science. Would that be part of your conservancy? Okay. There's lots of stuff.
Yeah. So let me tell you real quick. So one of our flagship programs, I know we went over time. One of our flagship programs is actually an 8-month long program, something we don't have in Dominica, where we teach students the principles and concepts of conservation with the principles of photography. So every month they get to attend this class, and they will learn one principle, and then they'll go out into the environment and then capture and utilize the principle. Then at the end of the 8 months, they'll have their capstone project where they submit their final project, and I'll be awarding 3 high-level scholarships to 3 students for photography equipment. This is one of our programs. So I'm now talking with local photographers in Dominica to teach the classes. But there's so many things that I'm doing. I'm just excited because education is key. At heart, I'm an educator. I'm a scientist, yes, but I understand the concepts of if you have the knowledge and you don't educate people, then the knowledge just stands by itself. And so educating people where the average person can understand the impacts of recycling, that's powerful. So there's lots of programs that are coming. There's lots of science research that's coming. I'm looking for great partnerships with the diaspora and the Dominican offices and departments and community to really continue protecting our island, because that's what we have. We have our island that we love. In regard to the wood chips, so I don't use any chemicals in my orchard. So what I use is there's a naturally occurring element called borax. It's kind of like a soap powder that's naturally occurring, and I do borax, water, and a little bit of sugar. The ants are attracted to the sugar. They come in and they take this solution and they take it back to the queen. So it's something that's very, very natural. In California, we have a lot of invasive ants. And so we have ants that actually killed off a lot of the native ants. So, and I have orange trees, so they love the orchard. So sometimes they come into the house, but it's something that's natural that you can really just kind of maintain the ant population if you have an explosion of the population. But the wood chips also sometimes they'll call pill bugs. So what you can do is try not to make it too thick, so that you'll have the aeration flowing through the wood chips, and definitely don't put it near the bark of the tree. So you want to make it where there's a circle around, where the wood chips kind of around the plant, and then that way you don't affect the bark and decay the bark over time.
Okay, so I'm looking at the time. We have, it's that time for us to wrap up. But quickly, Ferdison, let's get closing remarks from you. By the way, what is your take on a program like this, Connecting the Dots?
I feel like platforms like these are important, especially on a weekend. I tend to always listen to Connecting the Dots when I'm at home on a weekend. You get to hear the stories of persons who have reached so far, and it is important because that's where inspiration comes from, because platforms like these provide younger and older generations to reflect, connect, and of course empower each other. So Connecting the Dots, for example, just being here, and young persons or older persons who may be listening right now, who are listening or lending their support. And I just want to say a huge thank you to you, Ms. John Baptiste, for inviting me, and Mr. Francis for being here. And of course, Farrah, thank you so much for the unwavering support and encouragement. My Kalinago people and Dominican by extension, I really, really appreciate each and every one of you. And this program, a lot of them came on here to listen to my story and listen to the work that I'm continuing to do. So it really shows you how impactful platforms like these are and how far they will continue to go. So I'm hoping in the next 30, 40 years, I'll be able to be back here and reflect.
No,
that.
not that far. Not that far. No,
I'll be able to
reflect. I get your point.
Yeah, I'll be able to reflect and say, hey,
Yeah.
I was here, and this is what,
yeah.
and this is what I've accomplished. So huge thank you to each and every one of you who continue to support me one way or the other.
Nigel, what a wonderful program. Faye Martin is saying, this program warrants a part 2. So I mean, the discussion will continue.
Yeah. A number of people have mentioned that there needs to be a part 2 to this, because there's so much more they want to ask.
Farrah just mentioned at the start the high, but she did not go into details, as to, what was the passion for establishing the high and all of that. But we have run out of time. Yeah. So Nigel, we'll see what we can make happen.
As always, we try to make it happen, but appreciate you guys, both of you, for joining us, for connecting, for sharing your story.
Absolutely.
Continued success and blessings along your journey, There's so much more to be done, but appreciate what you've been doing so far.
Yeah. Thank you so for having me. Have a wonderful day, Dominica, and all the diasporas listening. But thank you for creating this space for us. Thank you to both of you.
Pleasure. Nigel, we'll do it again next week.
We do it again next week, my dear.
We have about 9 guests for next week alone. We have to say we can cut it down.
Papa, Matt, are you busy?
Well, we are busy for maybe for the next 2 years. We're looking pretty.
But we'll make it happen.
In terms of guests. But Nigel, all the best to both of you. Thank you so much, Ferdison.
Thank you so much.
All right, that's it. Nigel, next week, God willing.
I'll be in touch, Ferdison. We have a lot to talk about, Ferdison.
That's the idea. That's it. All right.